Welcome back to On the Ground. So, today, here in a little bit, I'm going to show you something I found to seem to work with the shifting. The last video, I showed you how you can adjust your clutch. And that did make some improvements, but it may not be entirely necessary depending. But what I found out was I let the engine warm up a little longer than I had been. So what I did, and I'm going to show you here in a minute basically what I do. It'll be a little lengthy because I give it about 7-8 minutes, maybe just another minute or two to warm up all the way. Because when you let the engine warm up, it's a wet clutch. So, you need that lubricant inside the transmission too. And it seems to make it shift better. Another thing that I found out was that it shifts rather quickly. So, I may have been running at a little too high RPMs and then try to shift. I tried shifting more quickly, and I'll show you that. I'll put that in the video, that it does seem to improve it shifting into the next gear, just like you normally would, which is not uncommon with manual transmissions. I used to drive a CMI, and not every engine and transmission combination is the same as far as the sweet spot at what RPM range it smoothly switches and shifts into the next gear, where you can float gears once you find that sweet spot. Some you nearly have to redline. Some it's only 2,000 or 3,000 RPMs they shift. The newer ones, the Cummins, they do. But anyways, and it's kind of true with the automatic clutch foot shift on the Honda. So far, that's been my experience with what limited space I have to ride it and to get out and ride it and stuff. But letting it warm up a little longer does seem to improve it. And I've read in forums where people say, after 10 minutes it seems to shift better or easier. And that's been my experience too. It does seem to shift better. And it does seem to shift better by turning that screw where you got your clutch adjustment for decrease, increase play. I put in another video. Clutch spring, whatever. Anyways, that seemed to help. Now, after I've put more miles on it, if I feel like it's too loose, I'll slightly tighten it back up. It just takes some tuning. It won't hurt it. It shouldn't hurt it. As long as you don't overdo it, should be fine. Anyways, some people say, you shouldn't, but buddy, I could not hardly get it to shift out of first, and I've been riding ATVs a long time. I don't know that it's supposed to be that tight. Some people say they just shift hard, but then again, some people may not know how to adjust that. But so I don't recommend letting it idle for prolonged periods of time. But I let mine idle for a solid 2 or 3 minutes. Then I start varying the RPM range, not full throttle, just a little bit gradually. And I'll show you that here in a moment, what I do through the process. It'll be about 10 minutes, and we'll ride up and down the street, Lord willing, and I'll show you that it's starting to shift better and at what speeds and the sound of the motor, and you just have to let off the throttle, and you'll get a feel for it. That's just the way it typically works. But I also want to show you I got my helmet in. So it's just a cheap one off of Amazon. It's only like $107. It does have a DOT certified. I think that's all I'm going to need for the trails here in Wisconsin. So I got the registration, the plates. The plate number is basically that same number right there. But you have to have that in Wisconsin. You have to have that. If you're born after 1988, you have to take an ATV safety course. I was born in '84. I don't have to do that. I still kind of plan on doing the online one, uh, just to familiarize myself with what they require here. I think it can lower my insurance too. But so, oh, and I washed it. I used Dawn Platinum. It looks good, you know. Rinsed off the water hose and the pressure washer. Scrubbed it. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's a four wheeler, you know. I ain't too worried about it. But don't know if I washed that off any, but I can recoat that again. I didn't really wash the rims too much, but I can spray them again. I might order another of that stuff, but it's not a big deal. I did spray these with that stuff, and there's some other ones up under there. It's got more of a bronze tint, because some of those, you can see that stuff on right there that appears to be like a liquid. I'm pretty sure that's that stuff. It doesn't look like it really has much on it. It doesn't mean that it doesn't, but I put it all on all the metal, and I plan on doing it again, maybe another coat or two, because it's important to me not to get that stuff on it. It's a new machine. In areas where it's burned to road salt and brine, it's not a bad idea. But stick with me, and I'm doing a few things, but we'll do that process here in just a little bit. So stay tuned, and I will show you how I warm up the machine and show you how well it shifts. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna warm it up, and I'm gonna show you the process I go through, and maybe this will help you if you're having any issues with it. Okay. So you can resort to the clock, you know, when you first start getting familiar with it. You can listen to the motor and things like that when you're riding, and you'll begin to get familiar with where that sweet spot is. So I'm gonna let it warm up till it's like 556, 557. Just idle at first, and then rev it up a little bit gradually, throttle the RPM range, and then we'll ride up and down the street. I had to take my steel toe boots off because hitting under the shifter, but I try to hold the camera. But yeah, we want to get the engine up to proper operating temperature. You can check. Let's see here. Well, it says low. I got some pull. But let's check that just real quick. Check on that. Should show coolant. Yeah, there we go. This should warm up, but just give it a little while. When it's like 556, 557, like 2 or 3 minutes, 4 minutes. 3 or 4 minutes, start throttling the RPM, get that engine temperature up, and then gradually, like I said, vary the RPM range, warm it up, then let it go back to idle for a little bit. because it's new, you may not have to vary the RPM range after you went through the break-in period process. But because it's still in the break-in period process, we want to kind of let it warm up properly, and we don't want to overdo it with throttling the RPM range, and we don't want it to stay idling at the same low revolutions. Well, we just let it warm up for a little bit. I know it's kind of lengthy, but you just got to give it time to warm up. It does seem to work better. It revs better, it runs better, more smoother, just as any engine would. Now we're at 5:58, in 5 minutes so far. That goes at 5:59. And you can do about what I'm doing, maybe a little variation. This is what I'm doing because it's still new. It's 5:59. It's starting to be a little smoother, a little warmer because it's warming up. I don't really like the way that seat looks when it gets them spots on it. I gotta clean that shed out. Still haven't got the card for it. Still waiting on that. So it's been 7 minutes so far. It may not take a full 10 minutes, but you know. And you could probably, after that last time, do it like a couple minutes. I mean, it don't have to be 100% precise. Just a general guideline. I'm just showing you this, kind of like something you can use to go by. You can tell because there's a clock on there to give you a general idea how long it's been warming up. You don't want it to really go past 10 minutes. You want to start riding it after that. So it's definitely warming up. Definitely, it's throttling more smooth. Let's go ahead and get on it here. Give it another minute. And again, maybe you already really understand this. I'm just doing this for people that may not be too familiar with it. May start it right up and it's only idling for a minute or two and get on it and go. So it's a lot better than it was before. Of course, I'm trying to hold a phone and show you. Instead of letting me just doing it natural. But if I just do it naturally, it's not really too hard. Let off the throttle. As you probably can. Sorry about that. I must have accidentally hit the phone. It's kind of hard to do this. I ain't no professional photographer, videographer here. Not really that difficult. But it's difficult holding the phone. But I mean, you generally get the idea. Usually it comes natural, but it does shift a lot better than before. You can't hardly get it to go to the next gear before. But yeah, it works pretty good now. You just have to let off the throttle, and you got to shift it from each gear. Seems like soon, you know. Yeah, it doesn't like to shift at higher RPMs. Pretty low RPMs actually. But anyways, let's try this again. See, it's kind of hard to. Somewhere in a field or on a dirt road or have any kind of mount. You know, I'm trying to do this with one hand. I got cars pulling in down there, so I have to. Anyway, that didn't go the best, but you got a general idea how it shifts. You have to let off the throttle, shift, let off the throttle, shift. Kind of quick, you know. You seen it probably went, what, 13 miles an hour in third gear, so I don't know if that'll change with time, but that's basically how it works. But it just takes some working with, getting familiar with it, getting used to it for it to shift right. I accidentally must have clicked the stop button and it stopped recording, but I'll include it in this. But anyway, yeah, it's doing a little better. After I get out and I'm able to ride it on an actual trail for miles and miles, I'll take me the tools I need to readjust if I feel like it's too loose, or if it's not loose enough to fine tune it. But yeah, so if you're having an issue, this video, it may help you. Maybe you just need to let it warm up a little better. If it's still too tight, then I have the other video, the adjustment screw. What you want to do is you loosen. Actually, let's see. There it is. Whoop, there it is. Right there it is. You back that nut off just a little bit, and you put a flathead screwdriver on that bolt, that screw, and you turn it left till you feel resistance, and then you turn it about a quarter of a turn, just a little bit, and those marks might actually be where it's supposed to be. But I turned mine just a little bit more, and it offered up a little bit more play. Let's see where it's at. Here, this is your linkage, then this is your play. Where I'm at, here's your linkage, and then your play. So you want to pull up all the way and then down, and you'll feel it, and it'll kind of drop. You just push it up a little bit and then up. That's your play, and that's what it'll adjust. Again, I'll continue to update if I need to fine tune it more to where it's perfect, basically. And so that'll conclude it for this video today. This is what I made for the weekend, this video. So, and I'll see you again here next time on the ground.